What's up, IndyCar? Hope you guys are doing well this Wednesday morning. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting us, for praying, for financially supporting us, whatever that looks like, however God has led you to be a part of this ministry. We just want to say thank you, especially for praying with us. God is moving in this season, and it is awesome to see, and I attribute that to your prayers. So keep praying, keep softening hearts, and just lifting up this IndyCar paddock to the throne of grace, because I will tell you it's working and God is moving. But also, I just want to say thanks for coming up to us at the races, the way that you comment on these videos and even share them to your timeline. It makes a big difference for this ministry, because honestly, Chuck and I, we do these Wednesday Wisdoms and we just trust God to use them. And it means the world to us when we hear back from you, whether that's at the racetrack or even right here on Facebook, of how much these mean to you. It really makes a difference. So thank you for being a part of this. But we're going to jump in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 8, where Peter says, "Finally, all of you have unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, a tender heart, and a humble mind." Unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, a tender heart, and a humble mind. Now, this verse is, there's a lot here. And honestly, this verse really grabbed me, especially with what is going on in our culture today. It's real practical stuff. And honestly, it's stuff I don't really want to hear. It's probably some stuff that you don't want to hear, but that's where God's got us today. So here we go. He starts out with unity of mind. Unity of mind. He doesn't say uniformity. He says unity. We don't all need to look the same, but we need to be united. And let's just be real, y'all. We are more divided now than ever in the history of mankind. I mean, we're so divided, we fight over masks. If you don't wear a mask, you're selfish and you just want people to die from corona. If you do wear a mask, well, you're just following propaganda and sheep and blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm just going to be real with y'all. We got to love one another. We got to support one another. If you want to wear a mask, awesome. If you don't want to wear a mask, awesome. Let's not judge one another in that. Let's just support and encourage one another. Let's not be divided. Let's be unity. Let's lock arms. God is opening the door for us to get out into this world and make a difference. Let's do that. Let's not sit around arguing and complaining and whining and whatever side of the coin you're on. Jonathan Edwards rightly said once, he said, if you idolize one thing, you demonize the other. So much truth to that. We see it right now, especially in an election year. Now, I realize this may be controversial, but it is what it is. That's where we are. We got to be unified. Unity of mind, sympathy, to be sympathetic. There is so much going on around us to have sympathy for. To have sympathy for the police officers that are getting rocks thrown at them and killed for doing their job of protecting us. To have sympathy for those that are victims of racism and racial oppression. To have sympathy for those that are losing their lives senselessly in this time of just chaos and crazy. And that goes back to the next thing is brotherly love. Is we got to love one another. We got to have brotherly love. Just love one another. And that's hard because we're so divided and we allow that divisiveness to affect how we love one another. I'm hard to love. I'll be honest. My poor wife should get a medal. We all are if we're honest. But we got to make that. We got to fight for that. We got to fight for one another, not with one another. We got to love one another. It goes on to say a tender heart. A tender heart, man, this is so important. Back in Isaiah, God writes, I'll remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. Whether it's sin in my life, whether it's me going down bad roads, me being arrogant, whatever that looks like in my life, my heart gets rock hard. And right here, Peter is saying a tender heart. Man, we got to continually lift our hearts up to the Lord. For him to soften our hearts, because our hearts grow hard and calloused. And that is a dangerous place to be, because when our hearts grow hard and calloused, all of these things they fade away real easily. We've got to have sympathy and a brotherly love with a tender heart. And then he wraps it all up. I love how he lands this verse. He says, in a humble mind. A humble mind. All of this fits into a humble mind. Humility, I don't remember, is one of those like old, really smart guys like C.S. Lewis or somebody. They said, what was it? Humility isn't thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. You know, I think we're all guilty, yours truly especially, of thinking a little too much of myself sometimes. It's our nature, right? It happens. If we can't look in the mirror and see our own brokenness, that's a problem. We've got to have a right view of ourselves and in humility to count others significant. So if you don't wear a mask and somebody around you wears a mask, don't judge them for it. Or vice versa. If somebody's not wearing a mask and you are, don't judge them for it. We got to have sympathy, brotherly love. We got to have a humble mind and think of others more significant than ourselves. What did Jesus do? The most significant man that ever walked this earth. What did he do? He always lifted people up. He always made people significant, especially the least of these. The woman caught in adultery. Gosh, what did he do? He lifted her up. He made her significant. The list goes on. And so, look, I know this isn't always the easiest stuff to talk about, and it is what it is. That's where God has us in his word. But man, we got to love one another. We got to be unified, not divided. It's okay to take a stance, but let's take a stance against evil. Let's take a stance against divisiveness. Let's take a stance of what the devil is doing in this world, and let's take a stance for good and for love and to love one another. Y'all, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. Keep praying, keep it up. We got Iowa this weekend, and we are expectant, and just know God has amazing things in store. Have a wonderful Wednesday.